Our top story this hour, defying a mass uproar among Israelis. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government pushed ahead with the controversial judicial overhaul bill. The Knesset passed the first reading of the bill by a vote of 63 to 47. Though the vote marked only preliminary approval for this plan, it has, however, raised the stakes in a political battle that has drawn thousands of protesters onto the streets criticizing the bill. Demonstrators from across Israel descended on Jerusalem to rally near Parliament to protest against the judicial reform bills. Inside the Parliament, opposition lawmakers chanted shame. They wrapped themselves in the Israeli flag and some were ejected from the hall. Despite the protests and criticism, Netanyahu's ultra-religious and ultra-nationalist allies say these changes are needed to rein in the powers of an unelected judiciary. Netanyahu has also accused protest leaders of trampling on democracy and failing to accept the election result.
In a democracy, the people vote in elections and the people's representatives vote here in the Knesset. It's called democracy. Unfortunately, the protest leaders are trampling on democracy. They do not accept the election results. They do not accept the majority decision.
Opposition chief Yair Lapid said that the situation amounted to the worst internal crisis of the state of Israel. He told the members of the ruling coalition, history will judge you for this night. So what does the government want to change? And the proposed judicial overhaul would increase the influence of Netanyahu government over the appointment of judges under the current system. Appointments that are made by a committee that includes lawyers from the Israeli Bar Association, lawmakers and judges. This new proposal would remove the representatives from the Israeli Bar Association and introduce two members of the public named by the Office of the Justice Minister. Critics have said that this would give the government a de facto majority on the committee. A second change would allow lawmakers to prevent judges from reviewing basic laws which serve as a sort of constitution for the country. Also planned are proposals that would give the parliament the power to overturn Supreme Court rulings and control the appointment of government legal advisors. These proposals have triggered massive protests in Israel. Tens of thousands of people held a rally near Parliament chanting slogans of democracy and waving Israeli flags. Some of them even tried to prevent lawmakers of the ruling coalition to leave for the Knesset in Jerusalem. Polls have suggested that most Israelis want reforms slowed or shelved altogether.
The demonstrations and protests are very important, and we came out to say thank you very much. It's not taken for granted that people leave their homes every day to fight for what is important to them.
This is the moment to worry about our future. I don't wake up stressed every morning, but I'm very worried that if this passes, then the future of our children will be completely different than how I grew up in this country.
For me, it's an unpolitical demonstration for values of a country which I believe in. My parents made Aliyah in 78. It's a democratic country. They gave up all their lives, everything they had, they left behind in order to come and build something here, and I don't want to see it in ruins.
The showdown has plunged Israel into one of its most bitter domestic crises, with critics insisting that the future of democracy is at stake in the country. The vote on part of the legislation is just first of the three readings that are required for parliamentary approval, a process that is expected to take several months. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.